Some of you might remember the Wayfair debacle, supposedly deep state QAnon stuff. And also before that was Pizzagate, which ended up in a shooting by a conservative QAnon supporter. That's really what it was. We'll call them a prototypical one. An e-commerce system will sometimes deliberately hide items by giving them absurdly inflated prices, which either A, makes people not want to order it, or B, tells the system to treat it as something to be flagged, or changing an item's price to something outrageous is faster and easier than taking it offline entirely, and or the website or your boss may punish you for delisting something that they may have later or temporarily doing it. Even if the website has the ability to do this, it will still penalize you because it's not available. Saying this clearly and full-throatedly is ignored. An easy way for sellers to effectively deactivate a product when they're out of stock is to change the price tag to something at a specific level that's too extreme. Also, some websites include this as set the value to over 9,000 as a joke, and that works. And it will hide it, it won't show up anymore, but you won't be penalized for taking it down. Now, the fact that I have to say repeatedly that depending on the website, depending on what the third-party seller is, and depending on the e-commerce software you're running from your business to sell on Wayfair or Amazon or eBay, and if you're doing all three of them, it may have to compromise between them, but use the same input for all of them, hint, hint. One of the universal ways to make sure that you can deactivate a product is to overprice it. Very few websites make it to where you can do an unlisting and not call it something that would result in you losing rank through an algorithm. One of the other things that will cause a price tag to increase is an automated bot trying to compete with a competitor by doing the price higher rather than lower, which doesn't make any sense except that's actually done by people. It's a default setting for some products. You can end up with a book costing $21 million being sold on Amazon. It's like a bidding war, but reverse. You should be lowering the price to be more competitive, but they'll jack it up. Other companies will put up a product that's absurdly expensive, well, not quite absurdly, and then put out another product that they happen to have more of that's also absurdly expensive, but suddenly looks cheaper compared to it. A $200 toaster looks like a better deal than the $300 one when you shouldn't be buying either of them. And this was found to really fucking work. So the Wayfair website allows people to sell things through them, and they also sell things from other companies and also their own in-house brands, including storage cabinets, which in some cases really are expensive. There are some things that are like industrial cabinets that are sold for specific reasons, like blast-proof steel cabinets. They look ordinary to everybody else, but they're made to hold, explosives. Literally a dynamite cabinet. Some of the cabinets, because of their algorithm, some of the objects, are given girls' names instead of stock numbers, or men's names, which is obviously going to trigger people who are looking for something to bitch about. QAnon conspiracy theorists. It must be child trafficking, because I need it to be so I can somehow make a posting on Facebook involving Hillary Clinton, Obama, and your mom. That part doesn't make any sense at all, by the way. I'm pointing out that QAnon conspiracy theorists and Trump supporters that promote bizarrely stupid, irrational theories on the internet don't have to make any sense. It just has to get page views. It just has to work. And for that, all you need is the search engine, Google, or another one, and the algorithm on Facebook to cooperate. And if you stick the right wording in, you'll also do something more important than triggering the bot or algorithm that affects the internet. It's the one that affects the people viewing it. People out there who are conspiracy theorists, and specifically conservative conspiracy theorists, have triggers. They don't give you the trigger warning. And a lot of them who are conservative are obsessed with satanic ritual abuse and blaming, quote-unquote, the elites for child trafficking or some variation of that. Yes, there is a focal point, Democrat or liberal, Epstein, that comes up when you talk about this. I know that. There's a metric fuck ton of religious fanatics and conservatives that ran churches that got caught for doing child trafficking that are immediately ignored, and people will let it fade from their memory as fast as possible because they're not allowed to talk ill of their own group. Yeah, I said it. You can find more examples of terrorism from conservatives in the United States. You can find more examples of child molesters that are conservative, that are usually people who accuse their next door neighbors of it. In fact, it's gotten to the point that if you see someone very, very publicly accuse neighbors of doing something and they're a conservative, the police departments in those areas will immediately assume that they're probably doing what they're accusing others of, because it's become not a stereotype or a joke or an accusation you can throw around. It's become something they can use as a predictor that they're guilty of something, because they're trying to throw suspicion off themselves and cause it to come towards them. So let's examine the current bullshit. If anybody's curious, Pizzagate included a meme of people noticing that most websites have a page that may not be linked from the main one, where you can go there as the administrator for the website, because it's a turnkey solution you just dump on your website, where it will let you go to a page where it has passwords and login restrictions for you to download the usage log of the website. Or it might be a place you could put things up to store them there so that other people can download them. An FTP storage area. I have one for mine too, but I don't use it. But the point is, it's not a place that only pizza joints hide illegal pornography when it's literally labeled the same standard for the file names as the log files for usage on your website that tells you how many times the page failed or what people looked at and clicked at, so you can do some marketing with it. This is like looking at your statistics for your YouTube videos. You can go click a page to get up the characteristics of who watched it from one state. The file is encrypted to everybody else if they were to try to download it from the server. That's not even available. But yeah, if I was running a website, I would need that statistic information to find out who's visiting, and it would be behind a password. And I did a video pointing out that, yes, the Comet Ping Pong Pizza website had the same page that hundreds of others did that used the same software, because it's the default page. It's not unusual. Doing that pissed off people who were making money off of YouTube, giving them money for views by saying over and over again, a pizza joint, coincidentally run by a gay person apparently at the time, had to have basements that didn't exist, and had to have a website that was vending pornography that's illegal when it couldn't. When a simple explanation is given, it's not paid attention to. And I want to point out a little less or a little over half, depending on what group of people you're dealing with, of people who post bullshit stories like this know for a fact they're bullshit. And same thing with the people viewing it. The majority, a little bit less than the majority, but about half the people who promote these stories know they're lying. And about half the people who repost them, disingenuously repost them knowing they're lying too. They don't care. But this is just done just like the liberals. You know what's fucked up about that? I used to agree with that. I used to criticize liberals a lot. And the fact is that liberals don't do this very much. Mostly because they don't want to look like a bunch of conservatives, which is kind of funny. The conservatives, for ever since Obama went into his second term, have been over-the-top interested in posting things that are simply not true, and then bitching when you point out that it just isn't real. Not just that they're lying, but that's nothing to do with reality. No, there isn't a basement, the ping pong pizza place. No, the website wasn't vending anything illegal. Yes, it was literally identical to hundreds of other websites that use the same turnkey software, Jaluma. That's all it was. Well, you're just making excuses. No, you're not listening and double-checking whether or not I'm wrong or simply misreporting stuff. No one has ever criticized me for the anti-Pizzagate videos I did by saying I got something wrong. It's always they didn't like the damn answer I gave. Same thing with Wayfair. If you looked up the video here, someone decided to post a what about, but not so many words. Now, I'm not saying they're doing this to be a jerk. I'm just saying it's an example of a what about. Wayfair website would price some things appropriately at ridiculously expensive because they were special purpose cabinets or some other product, but the rest of the time people would have the price tag set artificially high for making sure it would set off a little flag and make it not listed or less likely to be shown, to make sure that they didn't get an order for something they didn't have, and or because the algorithm kept overpricing it, or because they were putting up a fake high price, hoping you would now actually buy it, so they could sell something they had more of. There's 100 other reasons for it. There's also default pricing at $999 per item, which is actually a quite common system, or default pricing at $0. On YouTube, when I upload a video, I have it set, because I changed it, to not show it. It defaults to not making it visible immediately. Why? Because I want to make sure it's perfect, and I want to wait for it to be completely loaded so it doesn't have any loading and playback issues. Also because I want YouTube to examine it with their automated bot and complain before it becomes visible, so it's a little bit more likely not to take my channel out. The default behavior had to be changed. Many of these websites use automated bots to set prices, to be competitive, or have automated bots to make things unlisted. The website itself, or the company that may be selling through the website, let's say it's eBay or Amazon, might have a policy of punishing people for ever listing something as not available. But overpricing it or underpricing it, whatever you're doing, may be acceptable, and in fact, may be encouraged. Most websites don't complain if you change the price tag for something, because that can happen, and it shouldn't be something you'd ever punish someone for. I'm looking at you, eBay. They actually did that to us on eBay. If we lowered our prices, we would get punished, because eBay's run by assholes. But no, it isn't easier just to unlist it because you think you'll never have it again, or say it's unavailable when the website allows it. The website may allow it, but the algorithm for the website may punish the user or the person for doing that. They have lots of logistics at Wayfair or any other company doing this, and whoever's the actual vendor may actually end up getting punished. It may not be intentional, but that's the effect. And also, it may take more than a couple of clicks to unlist something. And this is something I explained pretty thoroughly in the video. Now, is this person, we're going to be evaluating the person's comments, not in the light of Pizzagate and the bullshit associated, but is this person doing a what about trying to keep the meme alive? That's a variation on keep the dream alive. It's a joke. I don't have a thought about Wayfair one way or another. We'll see. I'm pretty sure this person doesn't, but let's go. If an item is about to be out of stock, why not indicate that? Because you don't know whether it will be. If you've never run an e-commerce website, you may not know this, but whatever people are ordering, sometimes they cancel the order. Sometimes you end up over-ordering. If you're doing salespeople, you might end up selling the last item 6 times over. If an item is out of stock, why not indicate that? Again, depending on the company that it is, the website it is, Wayfair are actually included in this, you may end up getting penalized. Period, full stop. It doesn't matter why. On the other hand, they don't penalize you for overpricing the thing so that it's not really something someone's going to buy. They do that. Yeah, I know they do. Some do, some don't. I ran an eBay page and tried to sell things and also buy things. And I ran into this all the time. And they had policies that would punish you for doing completely reasonable things, but would reward you, by not punishing you at least, for doing stuff that didn't make any sense. Like overpricing things to death. Or making a minimum order of 500 items when you only had 3. Just to make absolutely sure you could control the flow. So you'd never have the things they would punish you for. We would get penalized on eBay, specifically, as ordinary sellers and buyers, if we did anything that involved stuff that you would normally do, like saying, shipping's extra, or this is subject to availability. No, it isn't. You mustn't do that. And we get punished. It's unreasonable, stupid shit. If you're a conglomerate running a website, the easiest thing to do every day is to keep people on their toes by doing things that are completely fucked up like that, where you punish people for doing completely reasonable things because you have nothing better to do. I swear to God, yes, this is a rant right now, eBay would punish you for shit that doesn't make any sense to prove they had their thumb on you. They would keep you under your thumb doing that. And employees that used to work there did blow the whistle on that being the behavior. eBay wanted to bully people. But anyway, if an item is never to be carried again, remove it after the last one is sold. What if it's sold 5 times over by accident? And again, nothing is ever never really sold again. Websites have left things up listable that have not been available for 5 years because it might come back. Overpricing versus any of the above-mentioned possibilities is merely the difference of a few keystrokes. Yes, except for the consequences that I have listed in the previous video and this one. Are you paying attention? Wayfair's website is sophisticated enough to handle it, and also sophisticated enough to fuck it up, because that's another thing they did. The website sometimes broke things. I explained this before. Is this a person doing whatabouts? Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck.